Jonas swallowed. Rosemary and her laughter had begun to seem real to him, and he pictured her looking up from the bed of memories. Shocked, the giver continued. I backed off, gave her gave her more little delights, but everything changed. Once she knew about pain, I could see it in her eyes. She wasn't brave enough, John suggested. The giver didn't respond to the question. She insisted that I continue, that I not spare her. She said it was her duty, and I knew, of course, that she was correct. I couldn't bring myself to inflict physical pain on her, but I gave her anguish of many kinds, poverty, a hunger, and terror. I had to, Jonas. It was my job, and she had been chosen. The giver looked at him imploringly. Jonas stroked his hand. Finally, one afternoon, we finished for the day. It had been a hard session. I tried to finish, as I do with you, by transferring something happy and cheerful. But the times of laughter were gone by then. She stood up very silently, frowning, as if she were making a decision. Then she came over to me and put her arms around me. She kissed my cheek. As Jonas watched, the giver stroked his own cheek, recalling the touch of Rosemary's lip 10 years before. She left here that day. She left this room and did not go back to her dwelling. I notified the speaker that she had gone directly to the chief of elder and asked to be released. But it's against the rules. The receiver in training can't apply for It's in your rules, Jonas, but it wasn't in hers. She asked for release, and they had to give it to her. Then I never saw her again. So that was failure, Jonas thought. It was obvious that saddened the giver very deeply, but it didn't seem much. It didn't seem such a terrible thing after all. And he, Jonas, would never have done it, never have requested release. No matter how difficult his training became, the giver needed a successor, and he had been chosen. A thought occurred to Jonas. Rosemary had been released very earlier in the training. What if something happened to him, Jonas? He had a whole year's worth of memories now. Giver, he asked. I can't request release. I know that. But what if something happened, an accident? What if I fell into a river like the little fool did? Kelp did. Well, that doesn't make sense because I'm a good swimmer. But what if I couldn't swim and fell into a river and I was lost? Then there wouldn't be a new receiver, but you would already have given away an awful lot of important memories. So even though they would select a new receiver, the memories would be gone except for the shells that you have left of them. And then what if he started to laugh suddenly? I sound like my sister, Lily, he said, assumed at himself. The giver looked at him gravely. You just stay away from the river, my friend, he said. The community lost Rosemary after 5 weeks, and it was a disaster for them. I don't know what the community would do if they lost you. Why was it a disaster? I think I mentioned to you once, the giver reminded him, that when she was gone, the memories came back to the people. If you were to be lost in the river, Jonas, your memories would not be lost with you. Memories are forever. Rosemary had only those 5 weeks worth, and most of them were good ones, but There were those few terrible memories, the ones that had overwhelmed her. For a while, they overwhelmed the community. All of those feelings. They never experienced that before. I was so devas- devastated by my own grief at loss her loss and my own feeling fear that I didn't even try to help them through it. I was angry too. The giver paused for a moment, obviously thinking. He said finally, if they lost you with all the training you have now, they'd have all those memories again themselves. Thomas made a face. They'd hate that. They certainly would. They wouldn't know how to deal with it at all. The only way I deal with it is by having you there to help me. With a sigh. The giver nodded. I suppose, he said slowly, that I could. You could what? The giver was still deep in thought. After a moment, he said, if you float up in the river, I suppose I could help the whole community the way I'd help you. It's an interesting concept. I need to think about it more. Maybe we'll talk about it again sometime. But now, but not now. I'm glad you're a good swimmer, Jonas, but stay away from the river, he laughed. He laughed a little, but the laughter was not light-hearted. His thoughts seemed to be elsewhere, and his eyes were very troubled.